Down! It's been a minute. How you doing, man? How you doing, man? It's been a minute since I reacted to your videos. Like,
I had a very strange and scary experience when I was in a bar when I was younger.
right.
I drank too much and I felt like I needed to throw up, so I went outside to get some fresh air. A bearded man approached me and started to make conversation. The man gave me an old black book. He told me that it was about demons. After he gave me the book, he walked away. When I got home that night, I was too drunk to look at the book properly, so I put it on my nightstand and I collapsed on my bed and fell asleep quickly. That night, I had a night terror, a really bad dream. I was lying in my bed, awake in the dark, and I couldn't move. My bedroom door opened and a dark figure slowly entered my room and floated toward me. I woke up in a cold sweat. The book that the bearded man gave me wasn't on my nightstand anymore, and I never found it again.
Oh my God.
Could that book have had to do something with my bad dream? I don't know.
I hope that was the last time you take anything from anybody. Dead ass. I would not like after that scary ass shit, I would not take anything from nobody at all.
I was booked for a flight to return home from my vacation. Unfortunately, my flight got canceled and the next flight home wouldn't be till the next day. So I had to stay one night in the airport's hotel. The room that I was in was on the ground floor. In the room was a big window, along with a door that could be opened but had a chain lock on it. I couldn't sleep that night because it was so hot. So I opened the door but not all the way, leaving the latch on the door. I couldn't get back to sleep for some reason. But when I opened my eyes, I saw a man looking through the crack of the door. He had his fingers through the door trying to open it, and then he just ran away.
Sue everybody in that mother club. Sue everybody in a 6-mile radius.
I'm an 81-year-old man. When I was around 10 years old, I had access to a radio. I spoke into the radio and I said, "Hello, my name is Peter. Can anyone hear me?" I got a response from an older man that said, "Yeah, I can hear you. My name is Peter too."
What?
Years later, I got hold of another radio and I turned it on. A young boy spoke and he said, "Hello, my name is Peter. Can anyone hear me?" I responded by saying, "Yes, I can hear you. My name is Peter too." And right after I said that, I realized that the young boy I just spoke to was me.
What the clock was that? That tripped me out. That tripped me out.
When I was a boy in the late 1970s, I went outside to play football with my friends. It was a cold and foggy day. The football got kicked quite far into the field. I walked off into the foggy field to get the ball. As I was approaching the ball, I could make out a young kid in a red coat.
All right, you got it. You got it. You want the ball? You get the hot ball. You can have.
Football. I couldn't make out too much of their face, but it looked disfigured, and it frightened me. I ran back to my friends, my other friends whose name was George. He went into the fog and got the football. He went missing, and none of us saw him again.
I bet he saw you again. What?
I was 12 years old and my younger brother was 10. Our cousin, who was 5 years old, named Jane, came to visit us one day. She brought with her a really old, creepy doll, and none of us knew why.
Okay, all right. You messed me with that shit. You gotta get the hell on. I'm gonna click. Okay, this is about to go down, right? Regardless of what you do, right? I'm going to haul ass. Right? I'm a haul ass. Cause one, you know I don't like dolls. Everybody in this house don't like knows that I don't like dolls. So the fact that you brought a doll over here lets me know that you with the cluck shit. And that's fine. You can be with the cluck shit. Just leave me the hell out of it. I don't care about anybody else. Literally anybody else I do not care for. So if you don't mind me, I'm going to go ahead and leave haul ass. Right? And then the rest is history. Because you missed me with that doll shit.
She was so attached to it. At the end of the day, after our cousin had left to go home, my younger brother came up to me with the doll and said Jane had forgotten her doll, and he asked if we should go to her house and return it. I told my brother I'm not going all the way over there to our auntie's house in the cold and the rain and return a stupid doll. I took the doll out of my brother's hand and I chucked it on the floor. The next morning I got up and the doll had been moved.
Oh.
It wasn't on the floor where I left it. It was up on a chair with a note under it that said, "I'm not as stupid as you think."
Oh my God. You gonna leave it like that? All of these junks need some extra details. All of these short stories right now, I need like a separate video in detail about all of these videos. About all these stories.
I remember one night when it was raining really hard and I was driving home late at night. I was struggling to keep my eyes open. I looked into my rearview mirror and I saw a very pale woman in her early 20s in the back seat of my car. She looked dead. I was frightened, and after seeing that, it perked me up from my sleepiness. I pulled over and calmed myself down for a few minutes. The car drove past me. I started to drive again once I calmed down. I drove down the road and there had been a car crash. It was the car that went past me when I was parked. The man driving the car was hurt. I put alongside him and asked what had happened. He told me that he was driving and a young girl appeared in the middle of the road and caused him to swerve off and crash.
That's almost as bad as somebody painting or drawing a child on the literal road. So as you're driving, but it's slanted. You know, it's slanted. Like it's drawn kind of long. I don't know how to really explain it. Hopefully I can show a picture of what I'm talking about. But it looks like a kid is just in the road. It's to help you slow down. But like, what if you see it? What if you see that drawing or that painting too late and you swerving like a mother clucker? Like, I guess it has its pros and cons.
Before I became a full-time construction worker, I used to take any work that I could find. For a time, I used to deliver frozen meat for a small butcher shop. I heard some rumors that the butchers were ran by people from the mafia.
Wow.
One evening, as I was driving, I started to hear an inconsistent thud coming from the back of the truck. I pulled over to check inside. I pushed aside all the frozen meat until I got to the back of the truck. Hanging there was 2 dead bodies.
Somebody was in cahoots. I'm sure that somebody loaded up your truck and try to set you up, or they had some clock intentions. Cause ain't no way in the world you loaded that truck. No.
While another one was barely alive. When I was a kid, I used to have this neighbor who was very old, whose name was Gordon. My brother and I would play in our garden, and a lot of the time our ball would go over the fence into Gordon's garden. We would knock on his door and ask if we could get our ball, because he knew us for 10 years, and we would ask for our balls quite regularly. He would just let us go through his house to his garden and get our ball. One day after asking for our ball back, Gordon as usual said I could go through and get the ball. For some reason I didn't go straight to the back garden. I stopped and looked at the living room door.
What you doing? You doing too much.
I had never seen inside before. Gordon was busy talking to my brother, so I took a quick look into the living room. There was an old woman sat in an armchair in the dark. A little bit shy and nervous, I said hello. Then I quickly went into the garden and got our ball back. One day I overheard my mother talking with another neighbor that Gordon's wife had died. I asked my mom, when did his wife die? She told me about 5 years ago. Then that made me think back to his living room. I once met a man in a pub. He was telling me stories of how he used to be a grave digger. He told me one night his friend had came to visit him while he was digging a grave. The friend asked if he could be buried to see what it was like. The man agreed.
Your friend is sus. Your friend is sus. Hella sus. And in cahoots. And sus hoots. And a clucky. I would never do that. Ever, ever, ever.
He told me he buried his friend. I asked the friend what happened next. He told me that he left his friend there.
Wow. Wow. All of these stories, I need 10 separate videos. Cause I need to know I need to know some backstory. I need to know what happened next and next and next. I need some more details. Like, if you can do that, that'd be clutch. Cause why would you just leave him like that? You leave him on purpose or accident? On purpose. Cause how would you forget somebody that you buried? Come on.
I lived in a big house in the countryside for a few years.
Countryside?
Every night for about 2 weeks, someone would knock on my door. And every time I answered, there would be no one around.
Get some cameras.
It was very annoying and creepy.
Get some cameras.
One night as I was upstairs, I thought I heard something in the field next to my house. I decided to turn on the nightlight. And when I looked out into the field, I saw about 20 people standing there in the field, looking directly at me.
You can't just leave like that. All of these stories that you talking about, you left with a cliffhanger. You can't just do that, especially not to me. I'm going to need some more details. Come on now. Data files alert. Is anybody else with me? Like, tell Nightmare Files that we need 10 separate videos with each of these stories, but longer versions. Because why were there 20 people outside? Why'd you bury your friend alive? Like, why was you talking to yourself? The younger version of yourself. Like, what the hell? What the hell? Why was there a doll at the house? Like, come on. This was dope as hell, but I hate cliffhangers, man. Jesus. Oh my God. But it's always a great time when I react to your videos, man. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. My family.